Now, the beauty of essential rock and roll is learning how to solo over a major chord progression using minor pentatonic or something from the minor family. Okay? Even though your brain, if you're a logical person, your brain is going to deny that and say, no, it's in a major key, therefore you should solo major, and rock and roll says, no, you don't want to do that. So the trick here is, again, setting yourself up with something that's going to work for you. And we are going to start with pentatonic. So what I want to do is just take this little track I got, which is literally an A major chord and a D major chord, which means if I was using Logic, I'd be soloing A major pentatonic or A Ionian or A major, the diatonic scale. And I want to show you what that would sound like, because it'll sound right. Okay, here's A major pentatonic. Especially if I play the right track. Here's the right, the sound here. Okay, so that's A major pentatonic. Now I'm going to play A major diatonic, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do scale. And hopefully what you're noticing is I'm squeezing the rock and roll right out of this poor jam track by playing that. Even though it's the logical thing I should be doing, in rock and roll it doesn't work that way. So what I want to do is I want to interject pentatonic, at the very least, minor pentatonic into this. That doesn't mean I can't use major, because I can, but it means if I really want that flair of what minor or what rock and roll is, I need to add the minor pentatonic elements. Well, what is a minor pentatonic element? Certainly the minor third. That we need. And then the other thing that's really nice is the seventh here. That G, those three notes right there are huge. Okay? You have your A, which is your root, your third, which is the C, which is the wrong note to be playing over this C sharp, because this is playing C sharp, but we're playing C over the top, which again makes no theoretical sense, but it sounds wonderful. So those three notes, the third, the A, which is the root, or the seventh, which is G. Using those three notes, listen to those three notes over this track. Sounds great. Now I want to add in all the other stuff too, though, right? I want my bending. I want all that stuff. Notice my vibrato is real wide. You know, a lot of attitude. Okay, I want to add all that in. So that's the first step, right, is making sure I've got the right scale, which is, in this case, is predominantly major pentatonic. I might use a little, minor pentatonic. I might use a little major pentatonic here and there to spice things up, but my minor is what I'm really gunning for. And these three notes, the third, the root, and the seventh. I'm really trying to target those. Then I've got my bending and my vibrato, all this other stuff. Now, if I want to level it up a little bit, what I could do is I could move into trying to use some other notes. Now, what I love to use is what we call the major sixth, or the raise sixth, which comes from what we call the Dorian scale. Now, don't worry if you don't know what that is, but what I'm doing is I'm adding in the 7th fret of the 2nd string. So I'm adding in this note right here, which is the F sharp. That's what I'm adding in. And I love the sound of that note. So now if I was playing again over that track, using that note, so I would totally add that in. And that gives me all my 3-note per string, you know, faster licks, all that kind of stuff. I love that note. And then I would raise it up again by adding in what we call the ninth, which would be the note B. So if you think about it, again, if you don't know your theory, don't get stressed out. I'm just playing 8-7-5, 8-7-5. Which gives me 7-5-4 and 7-5-4. So I get 8-7-5, 7-5-4. Okay, so when I go to solo, I'm seeing that pentatonic as my core with these 3 notes. But then I expand by using these other notes. Now, I don't use them all the time, but I like to add them in, right? So I don't have to sit and play everything all the time. That's the beauty here, is the pentatonic is the hierarchy. It's the minor pentatonic that I'm focusing on. And these other notes I'm going to use to color things up a little bit. There's just a ton of really cool stuff that you can do. So again, what I want you to work on is using this backing track and explore using the major pentatonic first or the major diatonic, whatever you want, and then look at the minor and how that works. Start seeing that minor pentatonic, or if you're using something else, again, minor pentatonic is a great place to start because it's rock and roll, right? The more I start making everything more eloquent with a lot of notes, like very, very diatonic, I lose certain elements of that rock and roll rawness. So I always like to teach people, think of it as minor pentatonic and then expand the minor pentatonic. But don't just, the entire time. Keep it rock and roll. However, and then throw some cool stuff in there here and there, but bring it back. All those sounds are just wonderful for creating a real rock and roll feel, bluesy rock and roll element.